Okay, welcome to this tutorial for the blog presentation. I don't know if anybody's going to join us for the moment, but until they do, I'm going to field a question that I received from a student asking about pages in the blog. So the question was about, or the student in question had created some pages, but the pages hadn't appeared as she'd expect them to do on the live blog page. So there's a fairly simple explanation for this. So I'll just show you how that looks. I'm going to go into screen share mode. I'm just going to share with you my screen. So you should now be seeing the my Blogger page. So this is my Blogger homepage. Here's a blog that I've set up just as a test to show you how to do this. So in this case, here's my toolbar down the side. I'll click on pages. So I've already created, as you can see here, a couple of pages about my placement and needs analysis. So these will be kind of similar pages to ones you might set up. I'll just create another one as well, just to show you. So I'll create a new page. I'm going to call this one planning. Put it up there. And so now I've got these three pages. But if I go to view my blog, as you can see there's nothing showing here. There's no pages showing. So what I have to do is drop down to layout. And if I want to have my pages shown below the title of my blog, so here, I can click on this thing that says add a gadget. And I'm going to look for the one called pages. Here it is. I'm going to add it. And then, as you can see here, by default, it only includes home page. So I want to select all. I want to show all of the pages that I've created. And it's going to be positioned below my header like this. So I'm going to now click save. And you can see it's appeared now. And save arrangement again. So now I click my blog, view blog, and the pages have appeared here at the top. So that's how to make your pages appear on your blog. So hopefully that answers that question, and you can follow those steps and do it yourself. So we're just going to come out of screen share again. Oops. I'm not sure that captured. Let's try that again. Share. Ah, there we go. So yeah, I'll show you that again in case I didn't capture it last time. So the question I had was to do with showing pages. So the idea was, once you've created some pages here, so here are the three pages are about planning, needs analysis and placement, that I can get these to show by going to layout. And initially, if you go to layout, you may not have this gadget here under the title, so that might be blank. Let me remove it. I'll show you how it would look normally. So normally you would come to it and it would look like this. So you'd have to add a gadget, go through to, let's find pages. Pages, pages, pages. There it is. then make sure you've selected all of the pages and hit save, and then save it again. So this time when you go back to your blog, you'll see now that the pages appear up at the top. So yeah, like I said, I hope that deals with that particular question. Let me stop sharing the screen. So I don't know if anybody has other questions they would like to ask. If so, please ask them now. I did have some other questions emailed to me that I can deal with, but if people have got questions to ask straight up, then they can ask them straight up. Don't appear to have anything coming through. I know one of the other things that people had asked me about was to do with posts and how many posts they should be writing. So some people have written a post after every session, and some people are doing less than that. And also some people have noticed that the handbook talks about a maximum of 10 posts. Now, I think when Neil set up the assessment, he explained that he wanted people to do a post after every session, so almost a reflection on every session. But of course, in the handbook, it does say a maximum of 10. Now, when you come to actually submit your blog as a piece of work, what I think would be good would be if you were to select, so if you were to do, I don't know, 30 sessions and reflect on each one, and you could select then 10 of those 30 to be put forward as your assessment piece. So you could select the 10 that you felt best demonstrated your reflective practice skills. So that would probably be my way of dealing with that. But also, I have mentioned to one or two people that it's probably important not to reflect on every session if there's nothing to reflect on. So my recommendation would be to reflect on those things that that are worthy of reflection. So, for example, if something goes unexpectedly well, to reflect on that and reflect on why it went so well. Or if something goes unexpectedly wrong, again, to reflect on what went wrong, why was it unexpected, and what might you do differently in the future. So I think whenever you have a situation where you have a clash between what you expect to happen and the reality of what actually does happen, those to me are good opportunities to reflect and to write a blog post. So if you're delivering a session and everything goes really well and nothing unexpected happens, then I wouldn't necessarily go to write a blog post about that, because it will end up being very descriptive. So that would be my advice on how many blog posts to write. So as many as you need, basically, to make sure you reflect on the unexpected happenings in your session, and they could be good or bad. So yeah, those are the kind of main questions I've been getting from people so far. Again, if anybody wants to offer another question via the Q&A app, happy to take some. I think one or two other people have been asking me about setting up the blog and making sure that their tutor can see it. So perhaps I could just show you that as well whilst I'm on here. So again, I'll just share the screen for a minute. There we go. So again, here's my example or test blog. One of the things, I showed this in my video before, but I'm not sure everybody got the gist of it, was to go into the settings panel and to grant permission for your tutor to see your blog. So if you were to, you could add them as a reader or as an author. My preference would be as a reader, but it doesn't matter too much. So if you wanted to add as an author, you just click on Add Authors, and then type in email here. So if your tutor was Bobby, say, you could put r.patterson@leeds.ac.uk and click on invite, and that will then invite Bobby to be a co-author of your blog, so he could then see what you were doing and also give you feedback from time to time on what you were producing. So that's basically what we meant by that, and otherwise to keep your blog private for the moment until it could readers or authors, until somebody else or until we decide to open them up to a wider audience. So that's what we meant about adding or giving permission to your tutor to see it, because that will help your tutor give feedback on the blog as well. So let me come back into the Hangout. So yeah, so we covered the idea of making pages visible. We've covered the idea of how many posts you might want to write and what we might want to write posts about, and also adding your tutor as a reader so they can give feedback. Not sure what else people had questions about, really. But nobody seems to be chipping in with questions. So I don't know if that means there aren't any questions left or not. Let's have a look. Oh, here we are. I've got some questions here from Daniel Abbey. Let's have a look. So Daniel's asking me, what do you put in your needs analysis? That's a good question. Actually, the answer to that is, well, actually, the main answer will come next semester when you start your participant development 2 module. So in your PD2 module, one of the assessment tasks is to do a needs analysis. So you'll learn more about that next semester. But at the moment, if you just started working with your placement group, the needs analysis is really just a way of gathering information about the needs of the group. So if you're working with, say, I don't know, like a junior gymnastics club, and you're working with some 9 and 10-year-old gymnasts, it might be to start reading a bit about 9 and 10-year-old gymnasts, to start to observe the group, to profile them, ask other coaches about the group and where they're at. So it's really to help you plan. So the needs analysis should key you into planning your sessions for the future, because if you don't know where the athletes are, you can't plan where they need to get to. So the needs analysis really should contain information, data that you've gathered about the group that you're going to be working with. But like I said, you learn a bit more about that in PD2. Abby has a question here. After each week I've done my session, do I need to have to name the page with a date? So actually, when you reflect on your sessions, the idea is that each reflection is a post rather than a page. So the way this works is, let me just go back to the, I'll share my screen again, go back to the blog. So let's just have a quick look at the blog. So here, the pages you can see will appear at the top, and they just kind of stay. They're static information, like a traditional website. Obviously, we haven't got any information on them yet. Your home page would normally and by default display your posts. Now, again, you can see there's no posts yet. So what I'd like you to do is, for each of your reflections, we're going to create a post for each reflection. So I can go to posts here and click new post, and I could call this Monday session or whatever. It will have a date. You'll notice here that it automatically sets a date and time, so you don't have to give the name of the post the date. You have to provide the name of the date in the name of the post. So if, let's say, I was going to reflect on my planning, I could say planning problems, for example, and then I'll just write and I might talk about the kind of problems that I had with my planning and how I resolved them and so forth. So once I've created my post, and this is my reflection here on my session, or what happened in my session, I click publish. Cancel that. Never mind that now. And then if we go back to the blog, you can see that's appeared as the first post on my homepage. So that's what will happen every time I create and publish a post. It will appear in reverse chronological order. So the most recent one first will appear on my homepage like this. So what we will see once you've got quite a few posts is a whole series of posts, one by one, that have all got dates and times on them. So we know exactly when these things have happened because that automatically creates the date against that. So again, hopefully that answers that question, Abby. We come back to the Hangout. Let's have a look. I've been going off the national curriculum in the schools. Am I okay just to place them in the planning as that's what you've been delivering? Yes, I would say if you've been working off the school, you've been working as a national curriculum, and obviously that's going to guide their planning, then make sure you put that information in your planning page. So again, that can just sit there. And it's probably best to think of your pages as like appendices to an assignment, so that's information you might want to refer to. So let's say the post I just gave an example of, you were saying, I want to, I've reflected on my planning process. You could write in your post, see page on planning, so it's kind of, you're referring to reference material that you've put in your pages. So yeah, that's absolutely fine. And then Dan also had another post question here saying, is it a maximum of 10 posts per page? So again, just to clarify this, in the blog, you have pages, which are static material that kind of sit at the top of your website, as I showed you earlier. And the pages will contain needs analysis, planning material, and also information about your placement. Now, those pages just sit there and they contain information you might want to refer to, like an appendices. Your posts are the things, the reflections that fill up your homepage, as I showed you before. So it's very clear. It's important to understand the difference between posts, which are reflections, and pages, which are your like appendix or reference material. And those things are separate. Okay, so I guess just picking up on your question there, Daniel. Where was I? Yeah. So in terms of posting, how do you know what page it will be under? Yeah, the posts don't come under the pages. The posts always sit in your home page, and then if you want to refer to a page in your post, you can do that just by saying see page on planning, for example. We can also create hyperlinks within the blog, but you might get into showing you how to do that later in the year. Let's have a look. What other questions have we got? Yeah. Oh, so Daniel's also asked about, is it a maximum of 10 per page? So I think I've answered that question already when I said that you could do more posts than that. So if you wanted to write, I don't know, say 25 posts over the course of the year, you could, if you felt you had that much to reflect on. But when it comes to actually submitting your blog, you might hide, say, 15 of those 25 posts and only submit the 10 that you think best reflect your ability to be a reflective practitioner. Yeah. Okay. I think that's most of the questions here answered. Yeah. Yep, I think so. Okay. So unless anybody's got anything else to ask, I will conclude the broadcast here. And all this has been recorded, so I'll put this up as a YouTube clip on the My Beckett page. So if you wanted to look back through any of this, then you can, of course. Okay. So that's it for the questions. I'll sign out here. We might do another one of these again later in the year if anybody's got any additional questions. Okay. Bye for now.